course, top of the KDA, but kind of cheating when you've only done 2 games. Bans coming in, though. Shen and Draven. You talked about Draven, how strong he's been. No AD carry went for him in the last match. This time he is banned out as well as Sona.
Yeah, we did see Freeze play him. Did a phenomenal job. Why not take it away from him?
Yep.
So strong early on. The Sona, though, Nyph's got to feel good about that, because honestly, throughout the spring split and the split, he's had some phenomenal crescendos come out. Even last week, we actually flashed crescendoed on 2 believers.
That was kind of the turning point.
That was,
that game,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, taken away from him.
Well, Nunu being taken away. Nunu banned, I think, pretty much 100% this week so far. It'd be interesting to see the total stats overall, because definitely is one of the stronger bans out there. It is down to Ninjas in Pyjamas, see what they're going to ban out here. Will they go? Thresh, of course, did sneak through in the last game. They still didn't win with their Evil Geniuses, but they got that pick. It is going to be the Thresh ban.
It's got to be a Twisted Fate ban here. I mean, he's 100% picked or banned the entirety of the EU LCS. And
he has lost 1 game, though, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, Bjergsen plays a phenomenal Twisted Fate like we saw last split, so you might want to take that away, but I'm not 100% sure what they really want to necessarily take away. They haven't done anything against Bjergsen, which kind of really scares me a little bit. Usually teams ban out stuff against him because they don't want him to get that snowball early on. But as you notice, no bans towards Extinkt either, because they're not 100% sure of exactly what he plays in the top lane just yet.
Well, it is the Twisted Fate ban, so as expected, let's see what Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to lock straight in. It will be Elise insta-locked in there. Interesting. So will that be Malunoo in the jungle or Extinkt in the top lane?
Or Bjergsen middle, which he did use against Lemon Dogs.
Yeah.
So it could pretty much go anywhere. It's one of those champions for NiP that you can pick early on. Don't know where it's going to go. So SK, they don't really have a good lead or a good read on it just yet. They can't really counter it right off the bat, but I wouldn't be surprised if actually SK picks up a jungler, because hyrqBot, usually when they get him a jungler early on, he does fairly well.
We are waiting to see what they're going to go with. Will it be the AD support lane, or will hyrqBot have that jungler? Will it be Jarvan? Jarvan available.
I was about to say.
Kind of one of the choice champions. John's definitely been favouring that one.
I was thinking, I mean, we haven't seen Hecarim too much in LCS, I think, for both scenes. But, you know, he also plays like a heavy or a very good Orianna, so that's why I was thinking that in particular. But Lulu and Jarvan. So the Lulu is a little bit interesting. Lulu is actually a very strong counter to Draven, just because he won't be able to catch you if you slow them with Glitter Lance. But I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it this time. Obviously, they have the Cataclysm, then the knock out of Lulu to really give you that little bit of time to get into the fight. But I don't know what NiP is going to respond with.
Well, they are waiting to make their choices. We see Bjergsen channeling away right now. See, making the choices between them. I guess Deficio is the other man that generally is the talker. Malunoo seems intent to sit in silence and wait. See, just tell me what I got to pick. I'll type it in and lock it in. Don't worry. Obviously not going to be the jungle pick then, it seems. Or they're just basically saying, no, you are going to play this in jungle. Who knows? He's obviously played a Mumu before a number of times.
He's the paramedic.
He did play Nasus in the last time, didn't he, as well? Has he played Nasus yet? Pretty sure I remember playing a Nasus. Vayne potentially coming out for Freeze here, and Nami, of course. Nami, oh my god. If you saw the OGN, some of those Namis coming out, I think it was Mandu that was coming out with them. Oh my word, those Aqua Prisms were just godlike.
They can really turn around fights exceptionally well. Not to mention the wave, which gives you a huge advantage in team fights. But for me, it's about Vayne getting a slow on her auto attacks that Nami gives you. Gives you extra speed increase, which Vayne already has from her passive when she chases an enemy. But also, that on top of that with the slow, you can really 1v1 extremely well. But with a Vayne, you want to give him an easy lane most of the time. You want to get a 2v1 just so you can get the farm, get going a little bit. And I don't think really SK is going to let that 2v2 happen.
Well, we're waiting for CandyPanda. He's got Ashe highlighted so far. I'm not sure whether he's going to lock it in or not. We do call him Caitlyn Panda quite a lot, so you know, maybe we'll switch across to that one. We have seen Caitlyn winning the last match.
I'm thinking Kevin played Rumble quite a bit back in the previous split, and he also played it one time, won that game in this split. He's a really strong champion, not to mention with a Jarvan, but it looks like he will be showing us his Zac.
Showing us his Zac, and Zac is not doing very well today so far. Zac has not got good stats.
Yeah, it doesn't do well pretty much overall.
I hate the champion. Actually, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love the champion, and I can see why people enjoy him, but to cast and to watch, it's just like, Zac's going in, oh, he's doing nothing.
There's 2 champions you hate. I believe it's Lee Sin and now Zac.
Oh, no, Lee Sin is a different level of hate. I love to watch Lee Sin. I hate to play against Lee Sin, but that's another matter. The fact that Ashe has been locked in, we're probably going to see exactly the same build as Genji's been running. We'll see how it works out for, because I spoke to CandyPanda about this, and he's like, sometimes he just goes his own route.
I think last time he played Ashe,
Infinity Edge, I think.
It wasn't the same build as we saw Genji, so he might go for his own. It just depends on how, I guess, the game's going overall. Genji really doesn't like attack speed on any of his champions, it seems, so I would think he would definitely go his own little build, as we do have And Ahri coming out. So relatively, if that Ahri does get locked in, that's a really squishy team.
Well, Ahri has been played by Bjergsen in the past. We'll see whether he does lock it in. I was just about to say, are they going to lock another champion? Was that actually selected?
Yep, I think it was. Because
that countdown went down to nothing. And the way you saw him go, oh, Sejuani, though, is going to get locked in, so we'll see how that works out. Malunoo playing Sejuani, we've not seen him for a while.
Yeah, but you mentioned him on Amumu. That's what I'm thinking definitely for him. Because,
similar type of champion.
Yeah, exactly. You have like the range of Amumu ultimate. You can have a lot of pressure early on, mixed in with that slow. So definitely up his alley here, and it gives you that tanky. Well, you don't really have a front line of this team, but a tanky member to really soak up some damage for you. But SK, a great pick in middle, and they always pick their mid lane last for Ocelot.
I think it may be Orianna. I don't know why. Just thinking Orianna versus Ahri. That tends to be how the route he goes.
That's a
He's done
bad
very
matchup,
well with Kha'Zix, though.
Oh yeah, he has. He's 2 for 2.
He's 2 for 2 so far with Kha'Zix, so maybe he's going to switch that out.
Maybe Kassadin, actually, because Kassadin's quite good against Ahri.
Well, if you think of the dive going in, no, it will be Orianna, it looks like. Going to put that ball delivery system on either Jarvan or Zac and just launch them in there.
Okay, so we're going to have CandyPanda for the initiate, then the whole follow-up from the team with the jump in, just like you said, the Orianna ball, the knock-up. So you're really going to try, you're really focusing on being able to team fight well, which means you have to get past that early game. And with the lineup NiP has, they don't really want to let you get past that point. I mean, obviously Vayne isn't extremely strong early, but as the game goes on, she's a little bit stronger mid-game. She's very powerful if you get that Blade of the Rune King first. And honestly, NiP, like, they have a very strong, very early game team.
So what do we see overall? I mean, you say strong early game team. Ninjas and Pyjamas, of course, did start off very well last week. They did go there 2-0, but they were the first game of the day. They managed to pick it up. They had 3 roster changes. SK Gaming have had no roster changes. How is this going to develop between them? Because the pressure's still on both of these teams.
I think it comes down to how NiP's been preparing this week. I believe we talked about it last week, how NiP, we're not looking for them to have amazing team synergy just because they finally got together, but after a full week of practicing, doubling the amount of time they've had, I would expect them to be very strong in these team fights. So they did relatively well last week winning the early game. I think they're going to continue to do that, but their mid to late game is really going to improve. And
something I don't recall seeing from any SK members has been streaming. I don't think any of them have been streaming this week.
I think, yeah, I think also it's the only one, and that was for a very limited time because they were practicing quite a bit. So that maybe shows how much they've been buckling down.
How much pressure is being applied to them as well, and how much focus is on them. So we'll see how it works out. I do know Ocelot was busy with a video piece as well in the week, so maybe that was also to do with it. But nevertheless, we are about to get underway. There are the new faces of Ninjas in Pyjamas. They've come in just last week, although you may well have seen Malunoo before. He was on Dragonborns. Ocelot looking very focused here. No flamboyancy towards the camera. Just absolute, complete focus. He has got his scarf on, of course, still. Can't forget that.
You lost me on that. Sorry, yes, he does look very focused. I completely lost on there. You know my mind, how it works. Well, you probably don't know how my mind works.
The thing is, I don't know how your mind went when I said flamboyance, because that just means he's got a lot of flair going on. I don't understand how you even associated anything. I'm scared how your mind actually works. So much so I'm going to stand up. Ninjas in Pyjamas on the blue team, SK Gaming as the red team. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get underway for the 4th game of the European LCS Week 4. You saw lots of games happening on the 4th of July in America. And right now we're having our own little party. It is the European LCS, and 6 games today, and of course 6 games tomorrow. Starting off 2 hours earlier tomorrow though, so don't miss those. We are looking at a potential level 1 start. Bit of aggression coming out. SK Gaming, they want to get that ward placement out.
I definitely want to be able to control, or at least be able to spot where Malunoo is going to be going here, just to make it so they can farm relatively easy on. And on NiP's side, they just wanted to protect their own jungle mostly here, so looks like they were scared a little bit of an invade coming out.
Yeah, just simple wards placed around that red buff, both backed away. Actually, Ninja in Pyjamas didn't get themselves too many wards too deep in. And this time, SK Gaming, they're going up towards the blue buff. They're going for a later invade here, and they're putting a ping ward down, taking away the vision of NiP. They have got a ward on the river, though, just up towards the blue, but now they have really no idea where SK Gaming are going.
And that's really scary for NiP's side because, I mean, they have a really good team at level 1. They have obviously a lot of vision. You have the guaranteed crit out of CandyPanda. So it looks like they're just going to ward it up again. And still, Malunoo's going to start at red. So we're going to see about a 330 gank towards the top side of the map. And it looks like SK actually going to go for a red invade here instead.
They are hanging around. There is a ward at the back, though. The back of the red buff. That will give them away. So Ninjas and Pyjamas are ready for this. They're going to see it. They're going to realize there's 4 members in there straight away. NiP back away. And it is going to be a red buff, sorry, pulled by SK Gaming. Are they going to be able to try and steal this one away? No, Malunoo's already backed off. He's like, no, it's not worth it. We can't fight for that.
And that worked out so well for SK, and they didn't even know it. That's the thing, is that they thought Malunoo was going towards blue, was going to start there, but he actually stuck around. He waited. Now he's going to be so far behind in the jungle that hyrqBot, if he plays this correctly, should be able to counter a lot of things, maybe invade a little bit, but definitely get some ganks off a little bit earlier and apply a lot more pressure. Yeah,
and they see him there. The fact that he's just cleared out that red buff, so he's managed to get the timer reset. hyrqBot, meanwhile, he's taking away the blue buff. That's going to go to him. Now double buffed up. See whether he goes out looking for the kills early on. And Malunoo, the fact that he was lingering around so long, he's still in the level 1. He's going for that blue buff. He's going to make sure he gets that secured, but he is a long way behind already. Yeah, and that means he's actually going to get relatively low off of this jungle as he's already chugging through those health pots. And hyrqBot, I mean, he's going to secure his own red now because he can. I mean, why not? You're pretty much getting 3 buffs right off the bat, and you're only giving NiP 1. Yeah, straight up. Very good counter. Good start from SK Gaming. We'll see how it develops, of course. Top lane, though, it is going to be Zac versus Elite. It's Elite, that's Extinkt versus Kevin. And Extinkt, well, he's been all too used to these solo lanes. Of course, used to be the mid laner for Kersey, you, and as well as, I believe, Heimerdinger Colossi as well. I'm not too sure. But definitely going to be an interesting setup for him. He's against Zac here, and Kevin, he is a fantastic solo laner. Yes, yeah, he definitely is. Honestly, in my book, he's probably one of the top, or actually, we're pretty high up there, but it looks like hyrqBot, after hitting level 4, taking 3 buffs, going to visit this top lane and try to go for a very early gank, since Kevin's having already a little bit of a rough time. Extinkt harass him quite a bit, and he doesn't really have a word to spot anyone coming in, so this could be very bad for NiP. The thing is, Extinkt can repel. He can usually get away very easily, although he's got himself caught very high up lane now. We'll see whether hyrqBot goes in for this one. He's still sticking around there. He is going to come in, forces the flash out. He's not going to get caught out, though. Extinkt does get away, but that's a flash burn. Yes, it is, and that's it's gonna hinder him quite a bit in lane. So Kevin should be able to pressure him. As you see, he's already backing out. Looks like he's gonna go back and actually buy a ward right now, just to kind of spot if he's gonna stick around here. But as we're mentioning in the champion side, we weren't expecting NiP and SK to send their 2v2s to the same lane, but they currently are at this point. And Freeze, he's even in CS. He actually started a Doran shield, which we didn't even mention just yet. So he's expecting a lot of harass here. Not to mention the regen off of that's going to keep him quite healthy. Mix that in with the lifesteal that he has sitting at 4%. It's going to be very hard to push out a lane. Yeah, indeed. He's, of course, going to just try and farm up as much as he can. We would expect CandyPanda to do a little bit more aggressive on him, but Deficio with those Acro Prisms can still be very dangerous. And if they can pin onto someone, we'll see whether they catch him out there. In the mid lane as well, we're also seeing it. And it is very even between the two. And you would honestly expect that a little bit, but Bjergsen, once he hits that level 6 point, it should be very hard for ocelote to really do much to him. As hyrqBot is going to come in for a very sneaky gank here. He wasn't spotted just yet, but NiP, they kind of backed away like he was, so he might be a little hesitant to go in here, but this would be very bad for NiP, because they do have the slows, they do have the ability to chase if they can dodge the Aqua Prison, which Ash, unfortunately for her, doesn't have an escape. That just shows how much focus they have. They actually pinged it, and they said, I think he's here. Oh, brilliant Acro Prism from Deficio. Beautiful. He was going through the Demacia standard slide in. It caught him mid-flow. Mid-flow, indeed. And that's exactly what you want to do as a Nami. If you can stop ganks like that when you didn't even expect him to be there, you prevented Freeze from popping his flash or his barrier. That really puts him off quite well. You stopped a gank, though he is actually going for a little bit of counter jungle himself, but Malunoo's doing the same, who is level 4 now. So you mentioned he was 1 to 3. And now he's caught up a little bit. I think he'll be level 6 around the same time. But hyrqBot, he's not done just yet. It's ocelote getting low in the middle. Flash force there. The Ignite also coming out from Bjergsen. Tried to get aggressive on him. ocelote is forced to back away. We do see a 3-man dive in this bottom lane. That's going to be the Hawk shot thrown out just to make sure they have some alone time as well. And they will put some pressure down. They don't want to take the 2 down just yet because they want to keep this Freeze on Vayne pressured as long as possible. Still no help coming out from the jungler because we do see Sejuani trying to dive in towards that mid lane. ocelote already gone back. They're trying to put some pressure down. Just a little bit of love taps on the turret. Yeah, a little bit of love taps. And we do have CandyPanda actually about 10 CS lead because of that gank. If he can keep it up, he'd be really well off. But I love in 3.8 how we have mid laners, or AP mid laners finally storing Doran's ring again, where both of them start out with that in a couple health pots, and they're really able to just attack each other the entire time. However, Bjergsen's level 6 to the level 5 of ocelote, so if he doesn't hit 6, which he just does right as I talk about it, then it could have been really bad for him. Well, I think he'd already burnt the ultimate just in the first engagement. Certainly burnt the Ignite, though. Oh, hyrqBot's going to come around and find Malunoo. Malunoo's already got that ward, though, to see him coming. He's going to slide on through, but he's already dashed off. Ocelote coming around just a little bit too late. Top lane has just backed off. Actually, we saw Boots coming out now for Extinkt. He's not really been having too many problems in that top lane. Kevin, in the meanwhile, looks like he's going to try and get that Warmogs out early on for Zach.
And get very tanky very quickly, and makes Extinkt have a tough time. However, Extinkt still does % damage, so the more health he gets, still going to be increasing his own damage in the end. And hyrqBot, he's really trying to make some ganks happen. He hasn't really been too successful just yet, but he's heading down bottom again. They're going to try to steal away the red, but it looks like Malunoo, who had the timer on it because he took the small minions away, is going to be able to get here in time and stop this. Yeah, it's going to be on towards the golems as well. Or will he start off? We do see Malunoo's going to come around. He's going to see hyrqBot. Hawkshot comes across. Everybody is there. And that is going to be a red buff stolen away. Will they give it to CandyPanda this time around, or will hyrqBot continue to have it? Yes, he will. Smite used. Man, so the last time I remember seeing SK do this so well was against Evil Geniuses back at Gamescom last year. And they're doing a phenomenal job of really trying to hold Malunoo back, though, because he's been, visiting the lanes a little bit more and pushing the lanes in. He's not really falling that far behind in terms of experience, as he actually is quite far ahead in CS.
We are going to see the blue buff. That will be given across to Ocelote in a moment, but he's a long way away because he's having to fend off Bjergsen. Meanwhile, this bottom lane, we continue to see the volleys back and forward. It's a 10 CS lead again being built up. Freesia slipping behind, but 10 CS between a Vayne and an Ashe is not too bad.
Yeah, considering you're going to outscale her by far as the game goes on. And to me, it's all about this mid lane, is who can get some sort of advantage as Bjergsen getting some good damage onto Ocelote. But Bjergsen, I mean, we always talked about him being the big playmaker for NiP back in the spring split, and he hasn't been able to do that these last 2 weeks. But if he can, having Extinkt with, to back you up, having Freeze to back you up, they can be a very deadly team.
Look at Extinkt. He's lingering off the side here. They want to try and make a play and maybe catch onto hyrqBot, but Kevin coming down is like, well, he's missing. He could well be trying to interfere with your red buff. Wisely so, comes from, protects him, and hyrqBot continues to just keep that level advantage over Malunoo.
And more importantly, now he's level 6, so these ganks could be even more aggressive out of him. If he can just pull them off, he's been shut down quite well from all of these wards that have been placed everywhere. And I'm curious to see if Extinkt will be able to get a little bit of damage onto that top side. As Bjergsen with the blue buff actually has a tower relatively low.
He's done a lot of damage. Ocelote, of course, was backed away early on. And again, throws out that charm, lands the charm again, and just keeps the pressure on. That could well be the first turret of the game to go down.
And I would... To have it in the mid lane is like the most weird thing, because it's usually the outers that it happens to. And as Kevin, it looks like on the minimap, he's actually going in on Extinkt, but wow. Extinkt took him down very low.
Very, very low. In terms of CS, it's actually Kevin that's winning out that fight. He has got the Rejuve build. And he was just going to continue lifesteal and chugging through those health pots. He's not going to be forced away just yet. hyrqBot sneaking in towards his mid lane, but Ocelote has already pushed up that wave. Both of the blue buff, of course. In terms of CS, very even between the two. Bottom lane, though, Malunoo, he snuck into the bushes.
Oh, there's the ultimate!
Ultimate catch is not quite on to CandyPanda. The wave this time will get waved through. The Aqua Prison also came out, but everything thrown at CandyPanda, and he survives, but it's going to be a battle of the balls in the mid lane, and it's surely Bjergsen who will come out on top. Flashes away from the Cataclysm, the defensive ball used for Ocelote. Ocelote did have to use the shockwave to try and save himself there, but Bjergsen coming out on top really effectively.
That's the second time he's done that. I believe back in Moscow he did that on Kennen against a Jarvan, but I was just thinking the whole time is that you picked a Jarvan, but NiP kind of countered that very hard with a very mobile team. Freeze you can't keep in a Cataclysm, Bjergsen you can't keep in a Cataclysm. The only person you can do it to is Deficio, and he's just a support, so it's not going to matter too much in the end. As SK does start to push his turret down, Malunoo's coming up from middle to help out.
We see Bjergsen's not backed off just yet. He keeps throwing out those orbs, making sure the charm coming out. He will save the turret, but that's taken very low. That's about even now between the turrets. So good work from SK Gaming there. We see the Aqua Prism just catching on towards CandyPanda, bubbling him up, but he survives through that one. And again, Ocelote and Bjergsen, they are not giving up on this fight.
I mean, one of them, because the first split's still up for stakes, or, pick up to get that little bit extra gold to give your team that advantage. We were talking about Ocelote being the big playmaker. It's kind of fallen off a little bit lately, more focused around Kevin and CandyPanda. But he wants to show everyone that he deserves a beer. That he's one of the best AP mid laners in Europe, which is it's been questioned quite a bit a couple of times lately. And I want to know if he's actually able to 1v1 Bjergsen, though. hyrqBot's setting up for Dragon right now.
Well, we're going to see the bottom lane coming up to help him out, or certainly we're going to see Nyph coming up to help him out. CandyPanda hasn't gone away. Things going down actually on towards Malunoo. So they know that Malunoo is a long way away from this one. It is going to be Ocelote, but he can't leave his lane because he'll give up the tower if he backs away. And they're like, look, he's heading down this way. They may be able to take the turret, but a Dragon for the mid turret, I am not convinced by this.
NiP would come out ahead in this trade, though. It looks like they might be able to head middle and kind of prevent that from happening, but in the end, they don't get the middle turret, they get the dragon, and I'm looking at NiP's lineup, and I'm thinking, do they have the possibility to go for an early Baron? Because they have the true damage out of Nami, or not Nami, as you do see Bjergsen going in.
Full-on aggression from Bjergsen, he should be enough. That's going to be first blood. Just a battle of who's got the bigger balls in the mid lane, and this time Bjergsen comes out on top.
And who would have thought it would have been Ari in the end, but now we see NiP going in bottom. Nami ultimate's coming in, Malunoo's in for hot pursuit.
CandyPanda surfing the wave, the Aqua Prison comes in, followed up by Malunoo, locking him down. There's nothing he can do to get away with that one. Flash was already burned in the last combo of those ultis. This time around, it worked perfectly.
And that is the downside of being Ashe against a Nami. You don't have the ability to get out of, you don't have a very easy escape, like the tumble out of Vayne, the net out of Caitlyn. And now with a Vayne behind CS, but with that kill, gonna have that Blade of the Rune King really soon, as hyrqBot's gonna just kind of maybe go for that turret, which is already relatively low, give him a little bit of gold back.
Well, we're seeing, of course, they have backed off, and hyrqBot down that bottom lane, he's keeping the pressure on. Meanwhile, this top lane also, Kevin, look at that, every time that poison gets thrown out, if that cocoon would have landed, it may well be Kevin having his passive pops. But it is Extinkt really starting to sink the pressure on towards Kevin. He has to back off. He still hasn't got that Warmogs. Everything is there to complete, just needs to combine it. Ping, meanwhile, on the Dragon. It's already gone, guys. Dragon was picked up by SK.
Malunoo going to pick up red again, level 7. And I was mentioning earlier before Bjergsen picked up that first blood was, will we see NiP maybe go for an early Baron? Because you have the true damage out of Elise, you have the true damage out of Vayne, and then Malunoo can tank it fairly easy on if he just builds a little bit of armor here. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go for that. They're already 2-0 right now. They have the advantage. And if they can keep this up, they might get that early Baron, might be able to push against SK when they don't really want to defend against it.
Hawk shot checking the vision. There is 3 members of SK in this bottom wave. They may be able to put the pressure on and really shove through on that turret. They have got the siege minion with them as well, so they will be able to put some pressure down. And Freeze and Deficio need to be careful that we don't get a cataclysm on the head here from hyrqBot. He could easily dive in. He's got everything available to him. There it is. There's a cataclysm on towards Freeze. They do manage to volley him down. Wild Growth as well was used, but he didn't quite get the combo popped off, and Freeze managed to flash out in time. They still can keep that pressure on the turret, though, and force them away from the experience. They're going to slide through. They've caught into Deficio again, but just like that, the Aqua Prison comes down. One more shot. Could it be enough? No, it weren't. The Condemn was enough to keep hyrqBot away.
That was a beautiful Condemn as well out of Freeze. And in the meantime, you're seeing Malunoo actually take away the red buff from SK. So he realized hyrqBot was bottom, took that away from him, and is counter jungling hyrqBot now when he was having everything taken away from him.
And that is going to be the mid turret going down. Bjergsen in dominant form on Ocelot at the moment. He did only go 1-0, but overall that turret is just going to get saved by Ocelot just at the last breath as well. A couple more shots would have been enough, but he hangs onto the turret again, and now we're seeing the rotation come around. SK Gaming, they're going to keep that vision in the mid.
And we do see Malunoo actually coming down bottom again. And without any outer turrets taken so far, I mean, you're not really going to have that lane swap come down at all, but I think this next Dragon, when it comes up, NiP, they're going to contest it. Before they actually hold this roster change, they never would contest Dragons, as they only got 5 and let 24 go back in week 2. But with this new lineup, they've been finally doing that quite a bit more, and with this early advantage they have, they could easily beat SK in a fight.
Let's see. It is going to be hyrqBot going up towards the top. He may well actually go straight towards Extinkt. Extinkt is going to back away from that one. Tribush ward was thrown down. Back in the mid lane, it's the Pyjamas. They've got 3 members here, and they're not going to be able to shove in and race through just yet. Ocelot defensive duties so far, and hyrqBot just off to the side as well as CandyPanda. CandyPanda's arrow is available. If anyone shows themselves, he may just go aggressive on this one. Meanwhile, the top lane, Kevin, he's getting pounced on by Extinkt, and look at the damage he's putting down on him.
That was 100% Zach down to 25%, just like that. As we do see SK, they're going to go for a push again. You should go take that turret. So they're up 2-0 in turrets, they're up 1-0 in dragons. And even though NiP got the first 2 kills, SK still looking very strong. Absolutely fantastic stuff here. SK Gaming, say 2-0 up in turrets, looking very, very strong. So 16 minutes gone. Advantages are with SK. It's only 1,000 gold though between the two. Has that pressure worked? The fact that they didn't make any roster changes, is that working in their favor? Of course, all the teams that have made roster changes so far are picking up wins, so seems to work for them. That is the top turret going down. We've seen Extinkt really starting to bully out this top lane. Now we do see a bit of magic resistance coming out. Negatron Cloak being picked up by Kevin just to try and counteract all the damage coming out from Extinkt, but Bjergsen, he is going looking for kills again. Will he actually find hyrqBot instead?
Well, he may well do. That is going to be the turret down. hyrqBot. Oh, look at the damage sunk in there. He can't slide away from that one. And now Kevin's in trouble. Bjergsen immediately dashes through. He's going to have to use Let's Bounce to try and get out of this one. He does manage to bounce his way. Is the Ignite going to be enough? Cell Division is there as well, of course. And that is going to be the defensive ball from ocelote. While that was all happening, 2 turrets, of course, fell. The top and the middle. So it's all squaring turrets. And the goal actually swung back to NiP's favor.
Wow, hyrqBot just exploded in that fight. That was just the damage out of Extinkt, who doesn't have that much AP, but with the penetration build he's currently got, with the Haunted guys with the Sork boost, he's sitting at 44 flat Magic Pen. hyrqBot right now has 53, so pretty much almost true damage to him, and as you can see right there, he could not stand it, or he could not withstand that damage.
And that is the third turret. It's 3-0 in kills, and now SK Gaming with a 1,000 deficit after being ahead in 1,000. So quickly swinging around against them. Ninjas and Pyjamas have all the outer turrets down and start to apply the pressure. The Dragon, of course, up in 8 seconds. SK Gaming did take the first one, but NiP will pick up the second one once it spawns. They're just not sure on the time yet.
And there it is, but are SK going to actually contest this right now? You have Bjergsen pushing middle right now by himself. You have hyrqBot, and right now Nyph coming in from the side as well as CandyPanda, but they're going to take it too quick.
Well, the arrow is going to come in, but just off the side is going to be Bjergsen as well. This is going to be a very tight fight. ocelote and Bjergsen actually fighting just off the side. hyrqBot taking low. They have got freeze down. Can that turn the fight around? But no, because that's going to be another kill coming in, and it's going to be Extinkt. They're chasing on towards ocelote. Not going to be able to catch on towards him. While that all happened, Bjergsen was desperately trying to take down ocelote, but he's just like, I am not interested in a straight-up fight with you. I'm more interested in the team fight. It's turned out 2 for 1. CandyPanda's going to get launched on. Look at the damage, but the defensive ball is there. They do manage to get the knock up, and it's SK Gaming coming out 3-1 on top of that fight.
In the meantime, you do see Bjergsen right now pushing middle here. The turrets are relatively low, so someone's going to have to back and defend this, and he might actually be able to get this down.
Well, he's putting a lot of pressure on. He's got the minions certainly there. He can clear the waves out. He may be able to get it down. As you mentioned, we do see Kevin's going to come in. He's going to be launching himself in there on towards it to try and clear out that wave. Will manage to get the knock on towards Bjergsen as well. Slows him down. Not going to quite be enough. Or will they continue? No, they won't. The ping's coming down, but Kevin, ooh, you can't chase that crazy, crazy fox.
And if you saw in that last fight, that was so well done by Kevin and hyrqBot working together. Freeze was in the air more than he was on the ground the entirety of that fight, even with the new Lulu ultimate coming in to knock him up. And that's exactly what they needed to do. Keep Freeze out of the fight. He won't get all that damage down with that Blade of the Rune King and that Zeal now. And because of that, they took him out. You have Extinkt, who was trying to burst someone down, wasn't able to, and Bjergsen, who he couldn't 1v1 ocelote because of that magic resist he has now.
Yeah, very tight fights though. Still definitely not in favor of anyone just yet. Just 1,000 gold between the two teams. And 1 turret separating them, which of course is that difference. In terms of AD carries, look at that. Straight across, both equal. AP mids, well, it's only about 600 gold difference. It's not enough to write home about just yet. Top laners, of course, that's only about 300 gold as well. And the junglers, more importantly, are still very even, despite the fact the big advantage that hyrqBot had at the start. Malunoo has definitely dragged himself back into it with those assists, helping across the board and keeping up the farm, honestly. He's been very strong in that field. So all across the board, still very much close, everything to play for.
Oh, here goes the Ash Arrow!
Oh, and dodged straight away, but that was the ultimate burnt by Bjergsen as well to try and dodge out of that one. Can he try and pick something up at the start of this? No, he won't.
That was like Matrix-style dodging right there out of Bjergsen. But still, like you said, ultimate's down. That means SK might be able to have a little bit of an advantage here. Ooh. As they're grouping up. There's nowhere to spot them here. As the defensive ball is going on Kevin, he might go in on this, and they could use ultimates.
Ball delivery system works. Shockwave on Bjergsen, just melts him where he stands. He does manage to get the wild growth on him. He's going to have to bounce away. Malunoo's going to get melted down as well. The wave gets surfed out, but it is going to be SK Gaming with another 2 kills.
Phenomenal fight out of them right there, just to jump in with the ball on top of Kevin. Bjergsen just blew up as fast as hyrqBot did earlier in the top side. So now SK finally takes the kill advantage, and if you think about it, it was pretty much 3-0 for a majority of this game, but now they picked up 5 kills, only lost 1 in the entirety of that, as now ocelote being chased here, and with the slow off of Nami, he might be able to go down.
He is dead. Cocoon lands, Aqua Prison in, sunk his fangs in, and Freeze picks up a kill. Stuck around too long in that mid lane, but how many times have we said this in the past? Getting kills is one thing, but if you don't take any advantages from it, which SK Gaming had no chance of doing, doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, and NiP with the comp they have, they can easily burst someone down if they're the ones to engage the fight. The middle turret's already very low here, so NiP, they lost one member, but they killed one, and now should be able to take this turret down.
CandyPanda coming off from the side, but honestly, I'm not too sure he's in a position to go for it. Freeze does have to flash and cleanse away from that one. Deficio getting caught out. Sorry, it was shield up, not cleanse. Freeze, he's going to get caught out. One jaw shot will be enough. CandyPanda with the kill. Extinkt trying to go towards CandyPanda, but he has to pop the barrier. Malunoo now chasing in there. Bjergsen's going to come in. He's going a little bit too deep. He does manage to get the kill, but it may be to the detriment of his life. But no, Nyph gets caught out, turns it into a double kill.
How did that even happen? He went into the backside. I believe he ignited CandyPanda, then just walked out as hyrqBot tried to land that knock. So Bjergsen, he went down, coming back and picking up 2 kills. So in the end, it was a 3 for 2 in favor of NiP.
Crazy, crazy fights. And that turret still stands in the mid lane. And it is going to be the top lane wave that Malunoo is going to go up and clear himself out of. Deficio, though, he's been pretty vital in some of these fights. It was, of course, the death by grasp as well that was used by Bjergsen. I wondered how he popped down so quick, and just like that, he's picking up the kills. 3-1-0 now, Bjergsen, whereas ocelote still not quite able to encounter, really put the pressure on as much as he can. He really needs that ball delivery system that Kevin or hyrqBot have been using. They are going to collapse on towards the top, but Malunoo just charges away on his ball.
Yeah, I mean, an Orianna typically likes to outfarm their opponent, and that's how you get really strong. You don't really need the kills, so you can use the ball delivery system to your advantage. But SK, so NiP's working against the clock, I feel right now, and if SK picks up that runic bulwark, they're going to have a very tough time killing anyone on the team unless they catch them completely off guard. And it looks like hyrqBot will be building towards it very soon, but NiP, I think they want to start some major team fights and just make it so SK can't get to that point where they're very strong late game.
Interesting second item coming out from Freeze as well. He's got the static shiv as well. We'll see how much of a role that plays in the next team fight. It's going to give him obviously the attack speed that he kind of wants, but he also wants that damage. So wouldn't be surprised to say maybe an Infinity Edge stacking afterwards.
And I guess we'll see what he does go in the end here. He's not up against a lot of armor. He's in fact up against no armor at this point. So Last Whisper is definitely not needed at this point, as Nyph getting an Oracle right now. So they're trying to control this Dragon area, which they are doing quite well. Extinkt will be backing away. Dragon's going to be up in 15 seconds, and we're going to see another fight here.
Nyph may well be the one that walks into it. Yeah, and he's just like, nah, I don't want to go blindly into that bushes. Kevin looks like he's going to be leading the way. Dragon will be spawning in 5 seconds time, so they are in place. They do get the ward on Malunoo, so they have vision. That pink ward, of course, being placed, and SK are going to start the Dragon off, but NiP are coming in to fight for this.
SK needs to not group up right now, because if Malunoo lands his ultimate, they're going to get destroyed at this point. NiP, they're not going to let this fly. They're going to go in here.
They're trying to get the Dragon. He's down to half health, and look at Malunoo. Look, he's ready to go. Don't forget that wave could follow on through there as well. The Dragon resetting itself a little bit. Oh, they are so tight together in this river area. If the 2 AD carries or AP carry get that a little bit close like they are now, that's perfect for Malunoo.
And they could just back away and take the middle turret, but they do actually don't take it, or don't steal it.
They go and engage instead. Malunoo gets taken very low. CandyPanda fires off the arrow. The ball delivery system on Kevin doesn't really pull them in. Malunoo manages to land a brilliant ultimate, and Bjergsen tries to follow on through that one. He's going to see Kevin. He gets cell division split off the side. Nyph gets dropped down by Extinkt. Bjergsen just cleaning house right now. Freeze is going to take down Kevin. It's going to be CandyPanda, last man standing. The Fangs coming out, and that is going to be a double kill for Extinkt and the ace. It is a 5-for-1. The Dragon went to SK, but the kills and the glory go to Ninjas in Pyjamas.
I will definitely be the first one to say that. I thought that was a mistake out of NiP. Malunoo getting caught right there. He ends up dying, but because SK engaged right there, because Bjergsen just blew everyone up, they're able to take that fight with a perfect ace, and now they're going for a relatively early Baron, about 25 minutes in, and they have the damage to do it. They have Malunoo up there to tank it, which might be a problem. As you see, he's already dropping a half health, but they're going to go for it either way.
Oh, it's going to be definitely a tank fight going on here. Deficio taking damage. They're also all taking a lot of damage off this one, but they should have enough to just take it down. Any interruptions, though, would hurt them, but nevertheless, they get it, and all 5 members pick it up.
See, this is the kind of play that you look at right now, and you think, would you have done that like a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Because we always talk about how certain teams look at LCS as like another script. They're not going to go into it and play extra defensive when they normally wouldn't. And it looks like NiP have kind of gotten a hang of that and started playing like that, like there's no tomorrow, and not really caring that it's You know, most teams want to back door there just to heal up, but Extinkt, he might get caught here.
Well, he's going to try and get slowed. He didn't quite catch on towards him. Glitter Dance will do. But straight away, look who's there. Deficio once again throwing those aqua prisons out and forcing SK to back away. They may be able to get themselves a tower, but it's only going to be an outer one.
Yeah, 1 tower for 5 deaths and Baron. I don't think that's an even trade at all for SK, but they're going to take what they can possibly get. Because like we mentioned before, they need that
they can't even get that.
Bjergsen's there.
No, yeah, Bjergsen's like, no, not happening. Get out of my turret. It's maybe an outer turret, but they're not giving it up on it. And SK Gaming forced to back away again. It's a 3,000 gold lead, and more importantly, a Baron buff for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Let's see what they do with it.
You know, I'm thinking about something we talked about, I believe it was you and me last week about NiP, in terms of when Bjergsen came into the team, like the test finally had weight lifted off his shoulders, he was able to play a lot better. And then Bjergsen was pretty much always the man to go to carry the team. But now, if you look at the score, he's pretty much dead even with Extinkt. Freeze has 3 kills as well. They're pretty close on CS. It's like they have 3 Bjergsens right now almost at this point. And it might actually be a really scary team as the league goes on.
Well, Extinkt was always a fantastic mid laner back when he was on Curse EU, so not surprised to see he's doing very well, been absolutely dominating that top lane. Although saying that, Kevin's 3-1-4 as well, so but this mid turret, look at that, with a Baron up. NiP, I wouldn't want to be standing around that turret too long because it just needs 2 gentle breezes.
And we'll see if NiP goes for it. They're trying to bait in that bush towards Wraith. They have an Oracle. They're on the aggression here, but it's going to be very tough. So NiP, they need Malunoo to land a perfect ultimate like in that last fight at Dragon. If that happens, they can just full-on engage, take out SK, and they just back away, let that turret fall down. But this is the real point. Can they siege this inhibitor turret down? And to be honest, I don't think they're going to siege it. If anything, they're going to fight. They want to kill SK, and with that, they could finish the game if it happens around this inhibitor turret. Yeah,
you can see there's a big wave along the bottom that's going to sort itself out. So it seems the top inner turret is the one they're going to focus on. They're going to head in towards their Ninja in Pyjamas. With this Baron, they have the advantage over SK right now. And SK actually looking like they want to defend it.
I don't think they can. I think this might be a mistake if they do, because they're all grouped right now for a perfect Malunoo ultimate. It's all about him landing it. He's biding his time. He's really being reserved with it. He wants to land a perfect one, because if he knows if he lands one more of those, they're going to win the game at that point.
Yeah, and you've got, with Ocelote and CandyPanda continuing to stand next to each other, it's just baiting Malunoo to just flash and dive in there. Hasn't got it quite available yet. You can see him, though. He's just off the side on riding that board. He wants to get involved.
This is what makes it even more deadly, is that SK can't control the vision around here. You see bot lane's pushing very hard for that second turret. That's going to fall very shortly, but they can't defend that top inner turret if they can't keep the vision, because they can just flank them from the backside. And NiP, they're like, all right, we'll back away from that. We'll take your bottom turret, and we'll get a little bit of extra gold income on top of that, as they're already sitting, or having 2 members sitting at 1,000 gold right now. And NiP, they're doing a very systematic finish. They're not trying to go for anything too crazy.
Extinkt is just melting that turret down. Those spiders are scary right now. Absolutely destroying the turret. And just like that, they're going to rotate round. They've got around about 10-15 seconds left on that Baron, so that's not going to be much use, but they are going to go straight back towards that top turret. SK Gaming kind of caught in between, not too sure what to do, and NiP playing the map.
We've talked so many times about when you lose that first inhibitor, like the chances of you coming back are so slim. I believe it's at 93% right now out of all the games that's happened in Europe for LCS, including Spring Split. But with that Baron falling away, will NiP still want to fight here?
Oh, they've managed to catch hyrqBot. They throw the spider towards him. Doesn't do a great deal of damage. The shield defensive ball, all enough to catch him down. Hawkshot does find the whole team. Will they collapse on NiP? No, they won't. They're going to be happy to just hold their ground. They fell 5,000 gold behind in that whole Baron effort where they completely got wiped out. So it does mean that SK Gaming are back into defensive formation, farming it out and trying to hang on, but realizing they don't have a lot left in their jungle.
But what they do have, though, is a lot of major items being completed. So the bulwark, or not the bulwark, the Aegis is completed right now, so he's very close to finishing the runic bulwark. We have a death cap coming in for Ocelote, which if he lands a perfect ultimate, he will shred NiP. We have CandyPanda with the IE and the Phantom Dancer, so he has some pretty good damage at this point, considering he's not really up against a lot of armor on the other team. So SK, they're not out of this just yet. They easily can come back from this, and it's all about if NiP will make the mistake and SK taking advantage of it.
Well, they have to make the right catch, and that shockwave has to be perfect, and at this moment, and don't stand next to each other is the main thing. Ocelote and CandyPanda, got to avoid each other. Dragon is up, and it's going to be NiP that's going to take it. There's nothing that SK going to do about that one. It's going to give them for free, which will stretch them to a 6,000 gold lead.
And NiP, from the fights we've been seeing most of the time, it's about if a Cocoon lands or a Charm lands, they follow it up with one or the other. And it pretty much means you're locked down forever. And I'm looking at CandyPanda, and with this Sejuani ultimate, if he gets caught with that, he's going to die. So I'm curious why he's actually not running Cleanse at this point. Obviously, we'll be able to save him a little bit more than a barrier will, but we'll see if he can position well, because they still have the strong Initiate. I mean, Ashe has the strongest Initiate in the game, but they haven't been able to make plays off it. I mean, I think he's only shot 2 arrows this entire game.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been quite Genji-esque as it were so far, although he missed one. To be fair, we are waiting for see where this next engage is going to come from. I'm wondering if it's going to be when the Baron respawns. SK are going to have to fight for it. There's no way they can let NiP take that one for free like they just did with Dragon. But they don't have any wards around it. They have no vision around it. And NiP, they're about to ward the hell out of it.
And luckily for SK, though, they have double AP composition. So Baron, he applies a magic debuff to you where you take more magic damage. And we've seen also against Evil Geniuses back at Gamescom where he got a triple kill with his Orianna just because of the pure damage, or the amplification of the damage. So with the Zac, with an Orianna, they easily could wipe NiP. And if NiP doesn't play this right, like, they could lose the game just off of, you know, being a little bit cocky and going for Baron. Well,
we've seen rash Barons catching many teams out in North America and Europe lately. 27 seconds though on the spawn. Ocelot's going to have the blue buff, but when it comes up, you can see NiP. They're starting to position for it. So SK starting to react. They have got an Oracle, I believe, on Nyph. Yes, it is. There it is, just coming into your screen. But they have to be very cautious about this play.
Here we go. I'm getting a little nervous right now because you know the fight's going to break out around Baron. As NiP then clear out the wards. Baron's going to be spawning right now. And SK, they have a choice. Do they want to fight for Baron, or they just want to push middle? And it looks like they're going for the latter of those two and force NiP to react to them.
Bjergsen's not with them. And SK, I'm not sure if they realize that yet. They're still unsure of where he was. He was up in the top lane. And they do use the volley to back away from that one. SK wasn't quite sure of their positional advantage. Now they see Bjergsen, and they're probably thinking, damn, we could have probably fought for that one. Would have been a great opportunity, but it wasn't to be. And NiP are going to try and take this advantage to try and clear out the jungle of wards that SK have just managed to put down.
The thing is, the top lane for SK is pushing. The bot lane for, I believe it is actually NiP, is pushing. So they're pretty much getting traded in that position right now. And in the meantime, SK is backing away, and they have to be very careful here because the ultimate's coming out of Malunoo and not really landing perfectly.
Not really landing either. That's not caught on towards anyone. CandyPanda taking very low. Has to flash out. Wild Growth was used. Is it enough to try and help him escape? Malunoo taking very low. Kevin comes around the side. Wild both. There's going to be the shockwave. That's going to be Bjergsen going down. Great play from SK Gaming. They've got 2 kills. Can they get away from this one, though? Extinct's going to land that cocoon. He will get dropped. That's going to be 1 picked up for NiP, but they're going to have to back away from this one. Cautious stuff from NiP. SK, really good escape there.
Yeah, look at me. Look how low Kevin is right now on your screen. He has no health left. I believe it was about 100 at that point. But a 2-for-1 for SK when they were already down that much. Very phenomenal play out of them. And it was about NiP committing so far into the backline of SK where, you know, hyrqBot was sitting with the team of NiP, like chasing his own team practically. And great job by them to pretty much counter that. Bjergsen, you saw the damage that Ocelot can do, and with that death kept coming out, that was just from that, and they were able to burst him down. And the thing is, bursting Ahri down, considering you have your ultimate to escape.
This is dangerous play from SK. They saw that Extinkt was down the bottom lane. They're still pinging him, saying he's still here. He's backing away now. Oh, Nyph actually caught out there by Freeze, condemned onto the wall. Is it going to be enough?
There goes Malunoo.
We're going to see Malunoo coming in. Malunoo hasn't got his ultimate available just yet, but it is coming up very soon. Freeze is going to cause problems, though. They're still trying to keep this Baron alive.
They can take
Kevin's going to have to back away, and now they're going to go in. Is this the mistake by NiP now, though? Because SK Gaming are going to come back in there. They're taking the Baron very low. They've got it. Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to try and turn this one back on its head. And SK Gaming, that was such a risky play. I don't know why they went for it.
I'm like, thanks, guys, but actually the fight might not be over. Malunoo's coming in. He has his ultimate almost available.
The wave goes through. Malunoo's ultimate, like you say, it's available in a couple of seconds. It's going to get launched out there. He does manage to catch on towards him. Freeze comes in. Ocelot pops the shockwave. Does manage to get one. Gets the second as well. It's a double kill. Kevin bouncing around the Aqua Prison, catching on towards them. Ninjas in Pyjamas still taking very low off this one. That's going to be the passive being popped. That will be a kill. It's the Bjergsen that takes down Nyph, but that is only a 2-for-1. The Baron buff on a lot of members of NiP still, though. And SK Gaming, they reset the clock for a little bit longer.
I'm looking at that fight and wondering, was that a mistake by Malunoo and Freeze to get so far into the enemy team? The Ocelot ultimate, the ultimate of Ocelot was just phenomenal, locking down Malunoo and Freeze. They're able to capitalize on top of that with the Jarvan knockup. NiP, 3 members still with Baron buff, still have it on your AP carry, so it's still relatively good, but SK, the thing is, look at their items. They're slowly getting in there. You have the Void stuff now done for Ocelot. You have the Abyssal Scepter and the Sunfire Cape done for Kevin. Like, they're finally catch up in terms of items, and if NiP, you know, keep throwing a couple of kills over to them here and there, SK can just pretty much win these fights hand down.
I think Extinkt's having a laugh if he thinks someone's going to go that far down the lane to try and wipe out the wave. CandyPanda's kind of thinking about it though, but he's been hanging around in that tri-bush. No, I don't think anyone's going to quite fall for that one, Extinkt. He has got Hawkshot as well, so he's definitely going to check things out with that. CandyPanda, there goes the Hawkshot. Checks out towards the blue actually, so Nyph can put the wards down.
It doesn't spot him.
Ooh, it doesn't spot him. Extinkt's still waiting. He wants to sink his fangs into someone. It's not going to happen. He's just going to wipe out the wave.
He's just sinking into a candy minion at least, get something out of it. And we do have the Void stuff actually done for Bjergsen as well. He's going for his Zonias right now because he realizes he's pretty much getting killed right away. He needs some sort of escape mechanism. And with this Baron, I mean, they easily could still fight right here. Malunoo's ultimate's going to be up right now. So they're going to go for Dragon, get a little bit of more gold. And I believe actually go home and buy soon because Extinkt has 2,000 gold at this point, so he could go for his Leandries.
Yeah, he hasn't actually been back because he had to run straight back up. Once that Baron fight started, he never had a chance to actually go back and spend his well-earned cash. He's still not going back. He's going to make sure he gets the golems first. So going to be buying some sizable items. May well be that Leandris, like you said, looking like probably will. Ocelot, meanwhile, in that mid lane. He's been really trying to help. Those shockwaves have been on point, in fairness, so he's been doing the job. And SK Gaming, they're not out of it yet. Still 7,000 gold difference, 5-3 in turrets, 14-11 in kills. And again, with that Baron buff taken by NiP, they're not really making a great deal of use of it here either. So it is SK are quite happy to sit with status quo right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think NiP realized, like, whoa, we need to take our foot off the pedal right there because we almost just got in a completely bad position. Luckily, 3 of our members were there for the fight. So, you know, they're taking their time. They still have a huge advantage, 7,000 gold at this point. They don't want to throw this game. And honestly, I actually respect that. I kind of like that because it shows that they're in control of their emotions at this point. And still, they're going to go for another turret at this point.
Top turret, I think, will go down here. Bjergsen throwing the charm out to the bush, actually wasn't quite sure it was there. Has got the rest of his team collapsing around him. And SK, you've got to be careful because they're a little splintered at the moment. They aren't really fully in position to try and defend that one. And sure enough, the 6th turret of the game goes to NiP.
And here's the point of, are they going to keep pushing? And it looks like they might just try to shove the lanes back in yet again. Baron's been up for a very long time right now, so they can't really be prepared for that. They took the last dragon. Only thing they can really deny away is that blue buff away from SK, but looks like actually Bjergsen will do that. So he's going to be able to take that. And after this point, it's pretty much just another Baron. Like, we're just going to wait for that point unless someone gets caught off of SK. Well,
they've got about a minute left on the buff right now, I think, around about, looking at the timer. And it does mean, of course, we're going to have a little bit of a wait, a little bit of a dance. I don't know what's going to go on, really. NiP are going to back off, probably going to get themselves a dragon again in a minute. But it looks like that bottom wave, that's going to get wiped out. All the lanes are going to get shoved up to SK. They're going to keep that gold farm going. And NiP, well, they have no reason to rush through this one. We're coming up to the 40-minute mark. It's the longest game of the night so far. 2 more games to follow this one. Not really the one we'd have called, though.
Yeah, who would have thought the NiP SK game would be longer than the EG Lemon Dogs game?
Yeah. Not us, that's for sure. But nevertheless, NiP are all pushing up this bottom lane. Are they going to think about sieging it? Because they've caught SK out a number of times with some very well-placed ultimates, and they've layered them very well as well. But of course, as we've just proven in the last fight, if Ocelot can land that ball delivery in the right point, it can turn the fight on its head.
Thing is, they can't really siege the turret down just because of the initiate out of SK. So if they want to do something, it's pretty much a straight fight under their own turret, led by Malunoo's ultimate. I actually wouldn't be surprised if SK, you know, potentially goes for a fight here because if they catch someone, they're gonna die just with the whole combo that SK has.
Well, they realize that they've forced NiP away. They're all going to go back and buy. Yippee! Let's see what items they get, guys and gentlemen, because they've stacked out the gold. We are going to see Zhonya's Hourglass coming in for Bjergsen. He's just going to be annoying, isn't he, in the next fight? We'll see how that works out for him.
That has to be the key. Like, that had to have been something they were waiting for, just to get the Zhonya's, because that means he can dive in and not be worried about being, you know, killed really, really early on.
Well, we'll see whether it is. The Zhonya's Hourglass on Extinkt as well, so that's the double Zhonya's. Going to cause problems, whereas not a single one actually for SK, not a single Guardian Angel for any of the teams either. We are starting to get towards those big, scary fights where people will get 100-0 in a couple of seconds if they're caught out, which is why, of course, the teams are being so very cautious.
Look at Deficio scored. I just looked down and I was like, oh, 1-0-10 hasn't died yet, so his positioning's been very spot on. He's been landing some really good Aqua Prisons as well. He's been clearing out the wards. It looks like the next fight will be around Baron here. And at this point in the game, 41 minutes in, honestly, either team can win a fight at this point, just because of the items they've built up.
Yeah, the last Whisper's been completed by CandyPanda as well, but in terms of AD carries, Freeze is going to be doing a lot more damage now.
Yes, that static shiv, the IE that you called out earlier, looks like he will be going for a last Whisper off that pickaxe. His damage is going to be ridiculous. The problem he has is, can he get in a position to really use it where hyrqBot can jump on him? You have Kevin who can jump on him, then you have the ball, the arrow, the Lula knockup. Like he's been caught the last 2 times in these fights and blown up pretty early on. And it's all about him positioning properly here.
Well, hyrqBot nearly caught out by Cocoon there from Extinkt, just flung past at the bottom of the screen, does a quick little dance and realizes how close he was to being melted, because that would have certainly triggered a very fast Baron, which will be up in around 15 seconds time. Ninjas in Pyjamas have full vision of it. They're certainly in the dominant position.
Oh no.
Ooh, I tell you what.
Oh, hyrqBot's so lucky to put that ward down there. I was actually thinking he might use his standard to spot them out, but that would have been the ideal pretty much initiate for NiP right here.
Uh-oh, they're going to charge for this one. He is going to flash. Oh, but it's not going to land. And that's a big ultimate wasted there by Malunoo. Didn't catch on. A couple of flashes were used, but that will be down for a while.
I'm trying to think if that was more beneficial to NiP or SK, because they got 2 flashes out of the carries of SK. Though they're down the ultimate out of Malunoo, which is like their big CC that they need for these fights. I think actually NiP will wait it out, wait for that ultimate to come back up, because obviously it'll be up before their flashes are available, and that's the big point where SK, they want to make something happen right now, it looks like. That's
why you can see they're going to try and push it a little bit and maybe try and take control of that Baron pit. The Oracle, of course, on Nyph will clear out all the wards, and we're going to have standing stances all over again. Look, Malunoo's actually going aggressive. Looks like Ninjas in Pyjamas want to fight for this one. They've gone for hyrqBot. They do manage to lock him up there. Bjergsen's trying to put the damage down. Nyph taking a lot of damage as well, and SK forced to retreat.
Now that's actually really ballsy out of NiP, knowing they didn't have Malunoo's ultimate available. It's already halfway off cooldown though, and NiP, it's pretty much just, they're just contesting that Baron. It's like, both have oracles, we want to get the vision of it, because you know the next Baron fight's what it's going to be about. Though SK has a lot of things in their favor at this point. Top and bottom are both pushing, so someone on NiP is going to need to back to clear those waves out, and when that happens, SK can go for that very quick Baron.
Malunoo, like you say, that ultimate almost available. They've caught Kevin out. He's had to back away. Cell division is available, but he doesn't want to get it wasted. That was a defensive ball used, but really, he's going to have to back all the way to base and try and get back in time. Deficio, meanwhile, he's wiping out those wards with his Oracle. That's going to buy time for NiP. They may well have enough to try and start that Baron off before Kevin goes back.
Kevin luckily does have home guard boots though, so he'll be back very quickly. But you're definitely right. I mean, SK with 4 people trying to get a ward in that Baron pit is going to be very difficult. And there you see right there with the bottom lane of SK constantly pushing. They take a turret from that, and Malunoo's going in again.
He's thrown his ultimate out. This time he has caught CandyPanda, and straight away, oh, Bjergsen gets pulled in. Shockwave wasn't enough to take him down. It's going to be the double kill picked up by Freeze. Now hyrqBot's going to dive in there. That could well be the triple. No, it's going to be Bjergsen that picks that one up. They're on towards ocelote. That's going to be another Zhonya's Hourglass. Extinkt the Ignite will take him down a feint. No, it won't. And they do back away. And that was a 3-for-0 for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're in prime position now to take the Baron, but they're going to have to go back first.
Yeah, it looks like definitely Bjergsen already did that. He's going to clear out that bottom wave. But NiP with control, I mean, having the Oracle down for SK, they're going to have to face check into this, and it looks like SK is just going to give it away. They're going to go for Dragon instead.
Well, Freeze definitely doing the job, and honestly, it's been Malunoo that's been initiating perfectly so far for NiP every single time. Kevin's simply taking the Dragon, trying to get any little advantage that they can, but it's all about the Baron for NiP. Let's see what they do with it this time around. They couldn't siege down the inhibitor turrets last time they had this. This time, though, I think they're going to be a bit more aggressive with those Zhonyas, but they are both on cooldowns right now.
Definitely. You saw just the power of them in this last fight where Bjergsen almost got blown up by the ultimate out of ocelote. He got knocked down about 10% health, popped the Zhonyas, was able to actually escape away from hyrqBot, and then Extinkt doing the same thing with that Ignite. So when those come up, when Malunoo's ultimate's available, there's definitely going to be a fight breaking out, and I think this actually might be the last fight of the game at this point. Like, we have really long respawn timers. Freeze has a GA now. It's going to be very hard for SK to actually take anyone down on NiP at this point.
Yeah, they're definitely in a bit of a predicament, it's safe to say. SK Gaming are up against the wall, their legs spread, and NiP are ready. It's about the only analogy I can think of. I'm just talking about searching, man. Your mind is in the gutter every single time. I don't know where you go from this one.
Is that why you looked at me with the grin?
No, there was no grin there at all. You're making it up. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're looking strong, and they are going to go straight up the mid lane.
And keep an eye out for Malunoo. when this ultimate goes off, SK, they're going to have to concede this away, but Kevin actually is prepared to go in. And he's not.
No.
Oh my.
Zhonya's. Oh, what are you doing? Ocelote, wow. I think he thought the timing on the Zhonya's was wrong, but even I knew that was up for a little bit longer. And that is a big, important ultimate down, and NiP are going to know that. They're going to come rushing straight through that mid lane. Look at that, the turret getting dropped down there. That will go down. Now they're straying towards the inhibitor. Malunoo's ultimate isn't available, but of course it doesn't matter because they've taken the inhibitor turret.
I went back to look at that just to make sure if they had vision of it, but they did. And it still, unfortunately, didn't work out for them, but that is a huge mistake of SK losing the inhibitor. And now NiP, with Baron buff still available, they can go for a push on this top side.
Wow, so NiP right now, one inhib down, and they got a giant stack coming in the top lane. They can follow this one through, and I don't think SK Gaming are going to be able to do a great deal to stop it. Shockwave's back available in a couple of seconds. They're going to have the very best of initiations here. Kevin with Let's Bounce is going to have to really interrupt the entire team. Bjergsen and Freeze definitely going to be the focus targets. Ocelote now, Shockwave available, has to try and catch this just at the right point. SK doing a good job at clearing the waves right now, but honestly, NiP only have to wait because the super minions are going to start coming up that mid lane, and somebody from SK has to deal with them.
Exactly, Demon, and that's just making me wonder if Nyph is clearing out all these wards. They could go for that crucial engage at this point because Kevin, he has a Let's Bounce the whole ball delivery system combo if they want, and pretty much they've waited too long. Now Bjergsen has his own available. Malunoo has his ultimate available, so pretty much they can't even engage at this point.
He's tanking the turret. He's happy to hold it out as well. Malunoo there. And again, that turret down to half health. CandyPanda and Ocelote. Oh, they stood right next to each other there. This is just perfect for Malunoo. He's just waiting for that exact moment to charge in, land that ultimate, and they will both be decimated if they can catch in the right place. You see CandyPanda still taking the damage. That inhibitor turret ever so slowly going down. Super minions now will be coming up. They are on the middle of the map, so once that next wave gets there, Ocelote also has to go across. It's CandyPanda that's going to deal with it. They know there's 4 members defending.
They have to go for an engage here because either they're going to lose a second inhibitor in the game or they're going to lose their Nexus turrets. They need to make something happen here. NiP, they're pretty much at the exact same point where they're going to go in here relatively soon. When one member backs away from SK, which CandyPanda just did, we could see the engage coming out.
They do see Malunoo actually getting caught out with a good stun. He did manage to slow down a little bit, tanks up the turret for a little bit longer. But look, the minions there on towards the Nexus turrets. The super minions starting to come in there, so they're just holding them down. Malunoo actually taking a good burst of damage there, but CandyPanda almost out of mana, so he's actually getting to the point where he may not even be able to fire that arrow.
Oh, we might even see Deficio go for the engage with the wave over the wall. We'll be able to catch him. Malunoo will be able to get in and land a perfect ultimate. But look at all of these waves. They're pushing in. Bottom lane has, it's all over that turret.
Yeah, super minions in the mid lane. Minions on the bottom lane. That's going to be an inhibitor turret. The arrow comes out, lands on Freeze. Is that the right target? They're going to throw the ball out there. Shockwave wasn't used, though. And Ocelote just holds on for a little bit longer, but that inhibitor turret in the bottom wave is getting massive pressure on it right now. SK Gaming are in trouble, and it's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas that actually back away. There's going to be the inhibitor turret, the bottom wave, taken out by just minions.
And Demon, I think we're going to see a 4th Baron of the game for NiP to finish this one out, because they can now just bait SK into a fight here. And actually, honestly, that was a really good engage by SK, and also, I have to give him credit. That was a smart play to not pop his ultimate because he realized he could have gotten Freeze's J, yeah, but he wanted to get in the perfect position to catch every member of NiP, or if he missed that ultimate, if he used it at the wrong time, then NiP would have finished the game.
Well, I think he realized that Freeze had still got, of course, his flash available, so if he had just got out of it, which he was probably waiting to do, he would have been fine, and then, boom, you're losing your best ultimate in the game. So, like you said, held on, delayed just long enough, and sure enough, Baron is up, Dragon's up in a minute, Baron's up in around about 2 minutes, and you're right, NiP are going to hold this one out.
And look what Bjergsen's picked up too. Going a little bit for round Lord Honest with the Hextech Gunblade.
Yeah.
So it's a really good item because it gives you some really good statistics. Also the slow, it means you can't really miss your Orb of Deception, which I don't think he misses much anyways. And now I'm going to take away the blue yet again. SK's going to push out middle as far as they possibly can. And if they don't, the thing is, like, they want to stop this Baron, but they need to protect their base till that inhibitor is available. And I believe that Baron will be up before the inhibitor is.
Yeah, they're going to take away the dragon, the blue buffs, everything in their advantage will be with NiP. And the gold, of course, going to continue stretching their way. 8-4 in turrets, but no surprise there. They've had full dominant control. They're going to keep those waves shoving up there. 3 members, actually, of NiP down this bottom lane. Don't forget that inhibitor is completely exposed, and SK have to react to that one. And that's going to pull them away from defending those super minions in that mid lane. Inhibitor will actually respawn soon as well, but the Baron, you can see, is going to be up in 50 seconds, but all of NiP are on this bottom lane.
This is do or die right now. They need to go for the engage really soon. They have to stop NiP from taking this inhibitor, or that will be game for them. And Extinkt getting really overextended at this point. They have to be very careful because SK has the damage to burst you down.
I like this play, though, from NiP. They're not worried. They're thinking, Baron 30 seconds, let's not worry about that. Let's get the inhibitor. Let's go for the objectives. Too many times we've seen teams fall away from going for a Baron at the wrong time, and this may well be the right fight for NiP. But we do see is hyrqBot that's going to engage. He tries to go in there. There's the wave. There's the shock. Is it going to be enough? The shockwave hasn't been used by ocelote just yet. You can see that ocelote does use that Zhonya's. He gets dropped. Didn't get a chance to use shockwave. Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to take victory here. They pick up 4 kills. Can they get on towards the final one? Kevin gets back onto the fountain. It doesn't even matter. It is going to be the Nexus turrets they go for. The inhibitor goes down just as the middle one had spawned in there. And it's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas. Bjergsen staring down Kevin on the fountain. And it will be NiP that take the victory here against SK Gaming. That's 3 wins on the bounce since their roster change. It seems to have worked out for them, but SK Gaming surely made them work for it.
And look at that fight. That was all about CandyPanda. He got caught by the ultimate Malunoo. He actually popped the QSS, but even with the flash, he wasn't fast enough to get away. And NiP coming out with 4 kills right there, coming out with the victory, going 3-0 right now. It seems like roster changes seem to be working out for teams.
But just looking at NiP there, they felt the nerves there. They felt the tension. They are not acting like a team like that was an easy win. They are looking a little bit shell-shocked themselves, thinking, cool, we have to work for that one. Fair play to SK Gaming. They hung on in there for long enough. 52-minute game, definitely the longest one of the night. 21-11 overall in kills. And the gold, well, it was massively in the favor of NiP for such a long period of time after that Dragon fight.
I was just watching ocelote mess around with Bjergsen. It's good to see them in good spirits after that. Being very cool, very good to each other.
Well, in Extinkt and ocelote as well, if you remember, obviously these guys have been around the block for a long, long time. Curse EU were around for a long time in Season 2. So these guys all know each other very well. And you can see straight away, just like we do, those guys are talking about it. That's all about the fight, that certain turnarounds, the plays. And honestly, I think back to it, it was when Malunoo went in for that dragon, turned around and did like a flick shot and got 4 people with his ultimate.
I think I know what Deficio's saying right now. He's like, guys, I was 1-0-16. I think I carried that game. We don't need to talk about it. We just talk about how well
guys, I didn't die. This is awesome. It actually pops his KDA up quite a lot, to be fair to him.
Yeah, and I mean, that kind of shows how good of a support he is. I mean, not dying first of all, but also the Nami waves he's been using have been phenomenal. Always perfectly positioned. Like in that last fight you saw, it was really well positioned. And Nami, I mean, had one of the worst win percentages. Is actually starting to win a lot more games now.
Definitely doing very well. And the Aqua Prisms, the waves, or whatever you'd like to call it, surfing out there, they were doing very, very well. So, Ninjas in Pyjamas do take themselves joint 4th, along with Fnatic and along with Lemon Dogs. And that means SK Gaming are actually joint bottom with Evil Geniuses now.
Who would have... I'm just still astounded by the standings right now. Who would have thought SK and EG would be bottom? I don't think anyone out there would.
3rd and 4th in the spring split. They are way down there, and they're actually out of the playoffs right now, which is the danger territory.
Yeah,
that's when the pressure
6,
starts.
Correct?
Yeah.
And just to imagine not having EG or SK there, it blows my mind.
In the playoffs, yeah. When you think how very popular those teams are in terms of, I think in DreamHack signing sessions, 5-hour queues or whatever it was for Evil Geniuses, there was insane amounts of people that wanted to go see them. And it's a scary situation for those guys. These are 2 teams that have not made any roster changes. These are 2 teams that are sticking it out. And I actually like them for that, because I hate to see people going out the LCS, especially players that have been here for so long. I'm a little saddened to see N-Rated leaving the LCS. I'm not going to lie. I was a little sad to see Edward going across to America, and that's not working out for him too well either, I hate to say. But overall, the new teams are coming in and performing brilliantly.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at it in terms of, you're talking about the roster changes about North America, where they seem to happen, well, not happen too often, but quite a bit more than Europe if you compare the 2. And for them, it kind of doesn't work out too well. But over here, it's just, I mean, EG and SK, if you look at their entire LCS career so far, the spring split and the summer split. Obviously, they did extremely well in the spring split, but if you look at it, if they don't get in a World Finals, will they still stick to the same roster is what I'm curious about.
Who knows? Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? We are going to get to speak to one of the new boys of Ninjas in Pyjamas, though. It's going to be Freeze over with Shocks.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Yeah, Freeze, of course, the new AD carry for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Great game for you guys. Talk us through the picks and bans. Do you feel you outpicked them? For instance, they had Jarvan, but you had a lot of champions that could just jump out of his ultimate.
Yeah, we basically wanted to do that because we expected that hyrqBot's gonna go Jarvan. He's like good Jarvan and he likes that champion. And it's really aggressive early and SK play really aggressive early games. So we knew that if we're gonna survive the early game, then it's our game, and only if we throw the game, then we will lose. And basically all the picks were kind of a bit late game and mid game, and all of them can jump away from Jarvan and just run away.
Yeah, very good team comment. Talking about late game, you were on Vayne, who's of course the late game AD carry, one of the best in that regard. So how was your lane matchup with Nami and Vayne against Lulu and Ashe?
Well, we picked Vayne really early because of the Jarvan, and I didn't want to let them play Vayne because we knew that they're gonna pick Orianna, and that champion is really strong in the end game and late game. So we wanted to prevent this. So we picked Vayne really early. But that meant for us that they're gonna pick strong laners against the bot lane, and they will bully us on the bot lane. So we had a hard time early game. Then Jarvan came and kind of denied all of the farm. I was freezing, and well, yeah, we had a really hard time early game, but we kind of survived, and the rest of the team got some kills overall on the map, and we knew it's our game.
You're freezing, as is your nickname, of course. Now, anyway, you went 3-0 with Ninjas in Pyjamas with the brand new lineup. So how are you feeling overall in the team?
I feel really strong. We have a lot of motivation to practice. We will basically boot camping at Cologne all week. We practice all day long from 10 to 10. And we prepared a lot for SK and for EG and alternate tomorrow. And I really feel like a family in the NiP because we have so much support from the headquarters. I can ask for anything and I get it instantly. I'm not used to it. That's it.
Great, feeling amazing in NiP and a great performance here. Good luck in your matches tomorrow as well. Thank you very much, Freeze.
Thanks.
Now, of course, we already had a ton of matches here today, but we still have 2 more coming, and it's going to be Lemondogs versus Fnatic, 2 teams that are supporting a new support up against each other. Fnatic versus Lemondogs after the break.